Good afternoon / evening, everybody. This is sigmafan here. Thankful to call an amazing Dragon Warrior randomizer race. We are in the second round of the summer tournament, the second round of the elimination rounds. And joining me for commentary is the magnificent brisulph. brisulph, we have two great runners here. It's Lorgon versus Tyerenex, two ace runners. What are you expecting from this race?
I'm expecting to see, as they say, some veteran moves out there. Going to see some dicey plays. We're going to see some things that may not work out. But in the end, one of these two is going to punch their ticket to the quarterfinals, to the Elite Eight. It is going to be one heck of a show.
That is right, and they had some great races beforehand. Lorgon beat Tyerenex in the first round, while Tyerenex beat Janice Zeal 6. And you know what? We also have some great people behind the scenes. We have Ali Grabrap, who is our tracker. We also have CD Improv, who is our wonderful restreamer. So if everybody's ready, sit back, relax, and strap it down. Dragon Warrior Randomizer here on RPG Limit Break. And by the way, big thanks to BD Dragon for 17 months being subscribed to RPG Limit Break. Thank you very much.
And also, as rightly pointed out in the chat, the winner of this match will move on to face High Spirits. So they'll be in tough in the next round, but you have to survive to advance. Let's see who's going to survive and advance and can make themselves have a shot at that semifinals versus High Spirits next week.
Well, let's take a look at some stats that we're going to be starting out with. Both these racers run strength hit points usually. And the stats are not the best, but you gotta like that 14 agility.
14 agility is nice, especially with the slight lack of hit points at the moment. All depends what they run into, though, early on. 8 strength, there's probably up to ghosts in play. The low hit points probably means magicians would be a bit of an ask, but the rest of those, provided they're not packing something mean, should be something they can kill. So we shouldn't be stuck for too long at the start.
Absolutely, and just to let everybody know about the agility, for every 2 agility points is 1 defense power, and away we go. Now, our goal is try to defeat the Dragon Lord. In order to defeat the Dragon Lord, you got to get Charlotte Castle. In order to get Charlotte Castle, you got to get 3 magical items, which are Erdrick's Token, Stones of Sunlight, and the Silver Harp. And we start with some gold, fairy water, and of course the magic key. They don't have any spells. So with that gold, they're kind of hoping to find a town nearby. And hopefully the outside environment isn't that much of a problem. And we got some plains, so hopefully they get somewhere close.
Absolutely. Tyerenex making a save here, it appears, to save that gold if there's a somewhat of a nearby town to make a run to. Hopefully looking for a copper sword or a hand axe with that money. And Lorgon doing the same.
Makes a lot of sense to me. 690 is on the high end, but a Magic Wyvern will be easily able to run away, and a Slime is easily taken down. So Tyerenex strikes first blood, gets those experience points.
Well, we do have a cave to the south here, and Lorgon is heading right inside, and appears to be, I think that is Tablet Cave. It's that or Mountain Cave, based on the movement I saw. Meanwhile, still looking for a town. Nothing nearby immediately, Sigma. Well, I spoke too soon. There's a town on Lorgon's side. Got to get through the foothills, though.
And get through this droll. Is able to do so. Gets to the town.
Ooh,
it is Cantlin.
Very nice. So Lorgon, no doubt, just going to look for a hand axe here with that gold in hand. Just trying to get a good weapon to boost the attack power by 15 and be able to really start slaughtering some enemies. Drakies have hurt.
Ouchie by Tyerenex, because that takes him out. And he'll have to restart the grind. Meanwhile, Lorgon does find a copper sword and some chainmail. So couldn't find the hand axe. Might be in that locked shop, but hey. Copper sword and some chainmail with 560 money. That's a good any day of the week.
Absolutely. The Copper Sword will still give, I believe, an attack power boost of 10. And as being pointed out in chat, also, there is Silver Shield available here. So later on, our players might be able to do the Gold Grind exploit to get that Silver Shield easily enough for a nice defensive boost.
Right. Meanwhile, Tyerenex has the 690 gold. Tyerenex can get all 3 starting items of Copper Sword, Chainmail, and a small shield. Something that Lorgon couldn't afford.
Very small boost of defense, an extra 4 defensive points. Not going to make or break the run by any means, but a nice bonus to have for sure.
And not only that, there's a shop at Catlin. Have some money left over, could buy some herbs and torches to grind longer.
That's true. With 120 gold, there's the potential to get 5 herbs here. It appears to be going instead for a Dragon Scale to add 2 more defensive points to the output once put on.
Lorgon tries to go after Magidrake. He just doesn't have enough hit points left to be able to take it down.
Quite a few Magidrakes out there. Not what you really want to fight right now. Even with this, decent boost at the start from this equipment, they're still going to be in tough with 11 hit points. Might be able to kill 1, but without healing, they won't get a second one.
Tyerenex is going to try to go for a Scorpion, and that looks like to be able to do the business. So Tyerenex will be able to get to level 2.
Well, the nice thing for Tyerenex as well is the fact with herbs in hand, healing can be done mid-battle if the Scorpion's not packing something nasty.
And it looks like they weren't. 5 additional powers, 7 additional agility, 4 hit points, 2 magic points, and a spell of sleep. That is going to be help against an enemy like a droid.
Absolutely. Sleep is a somewhat underrated support spell in this game. You get it early, it can allow you to take down some monsters that would normally give you a lot more trouble.
Yeah, but it won't really do much against fire and doesn't have the HP to survive even the lowest fire roll, unfortunately, so have to go back to the king. And meanwhile, Lorgon gets to level 2.
And keep in mind as well that the red on the stats, the hit point says 15. That means, as rightly pointed out by my co-commentator sigmafan, the hero cannot survive even a single, as they call it, baby breath, a small breath attack, because it does a minimum of 16 damage.
Yep, but Tyerenex dust some stuff off, be able to dust this Magidrake, and get to level 3.
And level 3 is 3, 10, 3, and 7. Some nice stats, but no additional spells, sigmafan.
No additional spells, but you gotta like that agility that's a little more defense. And in this early stage of the game, when you're going up against enemies like a Scorpion or a Droll or a Magiwyver, not a Magiwyver, but a Magidrake, having that extra defense does help out in defense breaking them, so they're only swinging for like 1 or 2.
If Lorgon can pull off this Scorpion here, Lorgon will get really close to level 4, and level 4 should be arriving for Tyerenex momentarily.
They're both
and
looking
indeed
for
it is
something to break out.
sigmafan.
Yep, something to break out. 12 power, that'll break out. 4, 4, 1, and a new spell of Stop Spell and Repel. So that's a good. We're getting some good support spells early on, which is nice. And it looks like Tyrenex's defenses is good enough to be able to defense break this Magidrake because his defense power is higher than the Magidrake's attack. But then you get a real challenge in these Warlocks.
Well, this Warlock would get Tyerenex to level 5, so we'll see what happens here with the battle. It's pretty good with that power boost. Getting close to death here, but go for the sleep spell. Will Tyerenex get it? Looking good here. This should be enough.
And that is enough. So level 5, 4 more power, 5 more agility, 5 more hit points, 4 more magic points, and we got outside and heal more. So there's a heal spell. So Tyerenex doing all the right things so far. Meanwhile, Lorgon is also doing all the right things, finding a skeleton, and does get to level 5 off of that skeleton.
Yeah, right now healing will be expensive with their magic points as Lorgon here gets level 5.
Tyerenex take a suicide death and take a suicide in the swamp, and then goes to heal from the king, and we'll be able. Looks like might go into the cave.
Might do that. I mean, it depends. I'm not sure if Tyerenex will Dark Walk tablet or not. And Lorgon appears to be heading back to Cantlin again, trying to get some herbs. Oh, Tyerenex bought some torches. Okay. Well, that'll make it a lot easier then.
Yep, torches will help out. And torch is quicker to... And another commentator told me about this. Torches allow you to go faster inside a cave than if you do radiant. And this does look like this is Tablet Cave.
Yeah, no, we were pretty sure it was tablet based on the movement we had seen, so we're good on that front here. And we're going to see momentarily the first chest outside of the castle being opened by Tyerenex. Probably going to be nothing valuable, but every now and then this cave pays off handsomely for 45-second investment. And it's a torch for a torch.
Meanwhile, 1373 for level 6 for Lorgon takes the experience lead. So tablet a big load of nothing, except an 8 gold torch. And it looks like Lorgon is going to invest himself a small shield as well.
No doubt going to add a dragon scale to that. No, looks like to be going straight for the herbs. And torches as well.
And Tyerenex gets very lucky being able to run away from a werewolf.
So right now, Tyerenex on the hunt for another 30 experiences, so 27 to be exact, to get to level 6 to catch up to Lorgon. Pretty even Steven matchup here thus far. No one really getting a huge leg up on the other.
Yeah, not really much places to go. And once again, with skeletons being defense broken, it really makes grinding on the skeletons a little bit easier. And Lorgon grinding on these wolves, and Tyerenex gets his level 6, so now it all depends on where do you go.
Honestly, if you can find a good zone with the skeletons, wolves, scorpions, warlocks, there's lots of good targets here to quickly get up to level 7 at 337 experience points.
And it looks like that's what both of them are doing in stereo, nonetheless.
Yeah, these wolves are paying off right now. Lorgon appears going to be going down to the basement of the tablet cave to get his replacement torch.
Tyerenex could try to defeat this skeleton before the skeleton knocks him off, and unfortunately, the skeleton does knock him off, and he will go back to the king. But the good news for Tyerenex is that he has found a good place to grind. So I think Tyerenex is going to stay there, get to level 7, and hope for either basic heal or hurt more.
Lorgon is pushing the boundaries of exploration here, heading into the big forest in the south, getting a warlock. Very nice when you're exploring to get an enemy you can kill.
Absolutely, and a couple of these warlocks will get Lorgon to level 7, which is 337, I do believe.
That is correct. Lorgon now heading down past this little swamp patch. It looks like the alarm mirror would be in there.
finds himself a metal scorpion, which is also good eats. That's about 30 some odd experience points. And also a spark over bridge found on Tyrenex's side, 31 experience points gained by defeating those metal scorpions. But a green dragon, that's a little bit too dear.
Oh, it was way too dear, and oh dear, Lorgon's going back to the castle.
Unfortunately for Tyerenex, he runs into a rogue scorpion, not powerful enough to do much damage to it, but is able to get away from it, which is good news. Gonna cast the heal more and check out this spark over bridge and the island. But a rogue scorpion trying to ruin the fun, it does not. But Tyerenex did validate the seed, so we are further good to go. Lorgon is running into a wolf, and if Lorgon does defeat this wolf, he will get to level 7.
Level 7 indeed, going to be up momentarily on Lorgon's side, unless this wolf has been hiding something nasty. We will see what Lorgon's going to get. Looking for a breakout of some stats, maybe a lot of magic, just something to help make exploration a little easier on our competitors. And here we are. 2 power, 4 response speed, 13 hit points, 7 magic points. Those magic points will add another heal more, essentially, and a little more hit points, but nothing too amazing there.
No, but it's that little things that will help further exploration. Like if they want to go up to the swamp, they'll have enough HP to go through it. Or if they want to go a little further south. Meanwhile, it looks like Tyerenex is going to try to go through the swamp and hopefully find something up there, maybe coal, and find some Erdrick's armor, but there's nothing in that swamp, so it's a big empty up there, and it's just a matter of Tyerenex gonna take on this this skeleton, defeat it, and maybe go back to Catelyn to fill up.
So, our competitors are currently looking to get to level 8 at 600 experience points, but still kind of stuck-ish around the starting area, it appears. We haven't seen too many nasty enemies out there, but they are lurking, and they're not able to survive much at this point with these very average-looking stats. Wouldn't you say, sigmafan? Lorgon here pushing on into the foothills and finding, ooh, a Star Wyvern. Not what you want to see out there. And a big smashing hit. Lorgon's almost done, but does escape.
That's good news for Lorgon. Cast the heal more and continue on his merry way, but doesn't find anything up there in this crescent-shaped mountain range.
No, and I'm marveling at these stats, all in the 30s and 40s, right across the board. It's unusual to see such averaged out stats at this point in the festivities.
Yeah, Lorgon goes from a Star Wyvern to a Golem, thankfully for his sake, able to run away from it, but nothing there. Tries to get away from another Golem, does so. So now it's the race to level 8.
For sure, and either that or someone finding a good breakout place. But right now, we're not seeing much of any places. Towns, caves, the big sea, anything and everything. There's just not a lot showing up. But as I say this, Lorgon does find a cave through that narrow opening in the desert.
Runs into a Druid, and it is Silver Harp Cave. So that's where you would trade in that Silver Harp and get your Staff of Brain. Good for later on, but not really good right now, so Lorgon is just contemplating where do I need to go.
Absolutely. And speaking, there's another cave, but can't reach it. That's a tease.
A real tease, he'll have to go around it. Go around and maybe make his way up north from it. So, Lorgon's still contemplating what to do. Going against this Druid. Now, a Magic Wyvern for Tyerenex, that's going to hit hard, so he's going to have to put the Magic Wyvern to sleep and just whack away at it, but only dealing 4 damage. Not worth Tyerenex's time, so he will go somewhere else.
Absolutely, and our players here are only, what, 20 experience points apart? 18 experience points apart at present. Really close here early on. It appears Lorgon is continuing. I think Lorgon might be mapping as goes. And we have a town here from Tyerenex.
Yeah, it's cold, so it could be the armor, could be the token, could be the fairy flute.
Or it could be nothing.
Take a look what it is right now.
And it's nothing.
Oh.
That's rough stuff.
It is, but you got a flame sword there, so maybe luck can play a part and get a key, gold grind. Options are out there. So now the quest continues for a breakout. As we say that, there's a town up north in the swamp. If this is Rimeldar, this could be a breakout.
Rimeldar would be good. Just some general knowledge would be helpful, but definitely Rimeldar, top of the list for sure. And I just want to say, Lorgon appeared to wander into the movie or the book Bridges in Madison County, because there was a lot of bridges down there, but ultimately it went nowhere.
Meanwhile, Tyerenex does go into Garanum. We'll take a look at the stuff. Ooh, flame sword, silver shield. We're getting a lot of good shops. But Tyerenex can't do much in Garanum without a key, so Tyerenex continues his journey and finds Big C.
We got the Big C. Sharlock, the home of the Dragon Lord, is right there, and it's nice to have a town nearby to fill up at on the way inside the castle, so that'll help. And hey, another town and a cave here near Sharlock. It's all kind of bunched up. We got Motel 6 here, Breckenridge.
Yep. Cheap and comfy, fill you up right, and be able to go to that cave. Who knows might be in that cave. Tyerenex probably looking for a mountain cave or Garen's grave. Open up some chests. Maybe find a key.
Could be the freebie cave as well. Maybe we get a free key out of that from the old man. But it is a dark cave. What do we have? We have Garen's grave. We'll have 3 chests here from Tyerenex, assuming Tyerenex can make it over there.
And running into a droll, so odds are pretty good that he'll be able to do it, and will be able to do it. The first chest is the silver harp. Then we have the stones of sunlight. Come on, token. No, it would be an herb.
Lorgon finds a cave in a big plains area. And I think it's mountain based on what I saw there. It is mountains. We have the other big cave. So Lorgon has potentially 5 chests to check here, if Lorgon can reach all 5.
Early Spectre does say got to get away from it and will be able to check this one chest. Could be a breakout. It's a fighter's ring, so that's some extra oomph to Lorgon's power. Adds 2 to the attack. And is going to go to the second floor, which mirrors the first floor's enemies in Garen's grave. Get some gold. If Lorgon's able to hold on to it, we'll be able to get a large shield out of this. But
Rogue Scorpion. Rogue Scorpion takes out Lorgon. Disappointing.
Meanwhile, Tyerenex looks to be grinding in the grave.
Could be lost as well. Because if you get off the main pathways in that top floor, it is a little windy, a little confusing. Yeah, there's the door. Okay, maybe Tyerenex can figure it out from here. And Rogue Scorpions, it appears to be just right for them. I missed level 8. We did get heal and hurt on level 8. And also a big hit point gain, apparently. 33. My goodness. Continuing along here, we have seen both of the large caves you can explore with 5 chests in each. Unfortunately, with no magic keys yet for either competitor, so they're unable to explore the bottom of the grave. But the top of the grave, in the 3 chests, we had, it appears, an herb, stones of sunlight, and the silver harp. And we have seen coal, but there is no Erdrick's armor. There was no fairy flute. There wasn't a token. It was just an empty spot on the ground. The people of town must be wondering, why is the hero over there digging futilely into the dirt?
Yeah, it's just unfortunately one of those things. Tyerenex looks like to be in just a grind mode. Thankfully, for him, he's able to run away from a Demon Knight, which is not fun at all. And Lorgon is pretty much thankful that he has the heal spell, so that's gonna conserve a lot more of his HP, his magic points. But with that 33-point boost, I think heal mores are now a much better option.
Well, the 80 hit points now, combined with the heal more spell, allows Lorgon to actually go after some more dangerous monsters, potentially fighting some things like Magi Wyverns and even those the aforementioned Demon Knight, things in the medium range of enemies that might hit too hard normally. But having that leeway could actually try to plink them down and use a few heal spells.
That is true. Meanwhile, Lorgon goes back to Cantlin and will buy his large shield, which is another additional, which is plus 10 defense power, I believe.
Yep, it'll be an additional 6 defense points now that the small shield has been rendered obsolete.
And now all that's left to do is maybe just gold. Hopefully find a key. That means, in this neck of the woods, having to find Rimeldar. That and Hawksnest are the only 2 towns left outstanding. Tyerenex continuing to traverse this swamp, hoping to find something, and unfortunately runs into a gold man, and they do hit pretty decently for this level.
Goldmen are one of those interesting monsters. They only give 6 experience points, but they give you the maximum gold, so rarely do you want to fight them. Yet they seem very tenacious and not letting you escape. And speaking of things that are tenacious, we have an Axe Knight on Tyerenex's side.
That is no bueno indeed for Tyerenex, just trying to get away, and thankfully is able to do it, but runs into a dead end in the swamp, which is no good.
I don't know if you should use the phrase dead end with someone who's walking through this much poisonous marsh.
Well, you could run into a Stywyvern with Hurtmore and be extremely at a dead end.
That Hurtmore spell right now is very vicious, but once our competitors find Erdrick's armor, won't be near as dangerous. But right now, not what they want to see.
Nope, and Tyerenex goes down. We'll have to start the journey again. Meanwhile, Lorgon does have some decent strength to be able to plink down this Magi Wyvern. Does so, gets 83 experience. If you could do that to one more Magi Wyvern, that'll take Lorgon to level 9. And this is back in Mountain Cave.
I really was gonna say I really like this play, sigmafan. We've seen 2 of the chests so far, but there's 3 here, and one of them might have a key. Could have Erdrick's sword. Lorgon doesn't know that the 2 story items are in the top of the grave, but there's potential here for a good breakout either way from the chest. Gotta love it.
Yeah, it's just a really good heads-up play. You know where it is. It's not that far away from home base, so why not do it? And it also helps to open up that 200-point experience link.
And on the other side, Tyerenex drops the boom with a crit on a Wyvern for 64 experience, and now taking down the big brother who showed up to avenge the little brother.
Alright, take a look at these chests. We have more gold.
There's the key.
There's
the key. Yep. Very nice. Big get for Lorgon. So this allows Lorgon now to quickly grab the chest here, try to get the last chest, can then death warp back to the castle, buy more keys, and then do a potential gold grind in the treasury if there's a gold chest. But first, we have level 9.
2 power, 3 agility, 11 more hit points, 10 more magic points, and a new spell of... It's Radiate, Return, or Hurt More. It's one of those 3. It's Hurt More.
It's the big fiery spell of doom!
And not far behind from Lorgon is Tyerenex, and Tyerenex just found himself Mountain Cave.
If Tyerenex can make a dive to get that key, that would be a good thing. But first things first, and there's another key. So now Lorgon doesn't need to buy keys first. Lorgon can just go right into the treasury at the castle and check it out, and then get more keys.
That's right. So, brisulph, what would your play be here? Would it just be grind and die?
I'm pretty much not near a level right now, only 17 magic points. If I'm Lorgon, I'm trying to find a way to take the death as quickly as possible, and this Rogue Scorpion is not a bad choice. Showing off the scale of the dragon, the Rogue Scorpion is not impressed. Oh, Tyerenex runs into the fun police one step away from the cave. That's got to be a little aggravating.
But thankfully for Tyerenex, able to get away and still have some MP left to be able to do everything he needs to do in Mountain Cave. Meanwhile, Lorgon does what he needs to do, gets 3 chests, dies. Now, there's 3 chests automatically given to you inside the Tantagel King's room. So now, find some wings. Now, the rest of the chests will be ruined, but finds the flute.
And then a gold chest
gold,
in
right?
the middle. Very nice. And fairy water is your final chest. We have the fairy flute, fairy water, wings, and then a guard blocking the gold chest.
But thankfully, the gold blocking guard is away. Tyerenex is going to do the same thing, going to get this second key, and then grind and die. Because he's not that far away from 9, so he can get to level 9, get his hurt more, but doesn't do it. Casts outside instead.
Well, Tyerenex might have just decided may not need to go to Silver Shield grind time, but a bit of an interesting decision there, I'd have to say. Seems like a good spot to grind. You're still weak enough to die easily, get back to the castle, especially with no return. Just a bit of an odd decision, you would have to say.
Yeah, and not only that, you have the castle, which is not that far away from the cave. You grind to your 24,000. Actually, you grinded 33,000. I think we saw some magic armor around. I think we saw magic armor in Cantlin. And you get your silver shield money. You could get a flame sword. You could just get everything going.
The one thing I would say for the flame sword, not really necessary at this point. At 28 attack power, you have a much more efficient one in the broadsword of plus 20. Your strength is not great by any means, but you have hurt more, so grinding isn't going to be that difficult going forward. Probably don't need the flame sword, but yeah, I see what you're saying. You could definitely get equipped up. That would be for sure.
And it does look like that Lorgon is going to go for the broadsword. We'll get the silver shield, maybe get a half plate out of this.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what goes on. And meanwhile, there was a cave in the basement. I think it would have been swamp, because if it's a dark cave, that's the only dark one we have yet to see, I believe.
It was Swamp South. And you were right about Lorgon buying the broadsword. And was there half plate in the other shop?
I think there was, but I don't recall offhand. But Lorgon's going right to the old man to see if there's coordinates. Seems likely at this point there is, but is not guaranteed. And here we go. Are there coordinates? There is 33 south, 1 west. That probably is going to be countable. It's mainly a southern jag right from the castle, so shouldn't be that hard of a count.
Nope. And Tyerenex finds a town. Was that Hawksnest or Rimildar?
Unfortunately, I missed. Was looking at the coordinates at the time.
Zarnax points out that it was Hawksnest, which is big for Tyerenex because he does have Hurtmore.
So Lorgon, no doubt, going to do a count here. Just try to see if they can pick up whatever's on the overworld. It's either going to be the token or Erdrick's armor. We already have the fairy flute, so that is not in a search spot. And since we know Cole is already out, potentially this and Hawksness are both in play. This one for sure, maybe Hawk.
And as Lorgon is doing the mouse counter, it is right near this patch of mountains. It is the token, so we know Erdrick's armor is in Hawksnest.
So Tyerenex is hopefully gonna, well, gets picked off here. Hopefully gonna get a refill somewhere and come back to Hawksness, knowing where it is, but also knowing where Catelyn is, so could also get those coordinates easily enough. And now it's Lorgon's turn to find Cole and be disappointed.
And then Lorgon will probably look at the shop and, well, can't buy half plate. So maybe, no, not even gonna take a look at the shop. But Tyerenex is going into Catelyn and will get his coordinates and grab himself his token. And he basically knows where everything is except Jerk. And by our calculations, we know where Jerk is, and that is in the back half of Garenham, where Lorgon is heading right now.
Absolutely. Lorgon is yet to see the top of the grave. You know, probably hoping that these items are just going to be in Garenham when Garenham shows up. But, you know, there could be a good consolation prize here in the warehouse. Could be the Death Necklace, and there could be the Erdrick Sword. The Death Necklace currently looking like it's going to be a possibility with the hit points being so high at level 9, but you never know when things are going to slow down on that front. Do you want to explain the Death Necklace?
Yeah, what happens is you take your health, you cut it by 25%, but you get 10 additional attack, which is great late game if you have like 140 HP and your attack power is at like 119, 120, 121. That additional 10 attack power puts it over the top.
It gives you the potential of maybe killing the Dragon Lord a level earlier, and if you still have good stats and you can use it, it just speeds up the fight in general. It just gives you extra oomph on all your attacks.
And with the castle being as close to a town as it is, if you're in the middle of a grind, like say against an Axe Knight or something, it wouldn't be that bad of an idea to do it normally, have a normal thing to go with it. And the sword was not there, so we know the sword's in Sherlock, or in that one chest in Rimildar.
Well, I will say that, we got the Freebie Cave.
Freebie Cave. Forgot about the Freebie Cave.
Freebie. What have we got in Freebie Cave? We've got wings. The warehouse in Garenham actually had the throne room, vanilla throne room items of gold key and a torch. Not key, pardon me. Gold torch herb. There we go. Starter pack.
Nice little starter pack. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is gonna die to this red dragon, get back to the castle, and I think he's gonna go back to Hawksnest.
Tyerenex has yet to see the harp trade-in. If Tyerenex had seen it by this point, probably would be the first thing to do. So when you find the Rainbow Drop Cave, you would be able to get your Rainbow Drop. But meanwhile, Lorgon is going to be heading into Garen's grave here and will be presumably holding the other two story items. And Lorgon does know where the Harp Trident is for the Staff of Rain. So a bit of an advantage there.
Not only that, has a key, so he'll be able to check those last two chests and could possibly find himself Erdrick's sword, which would be a big, big advantage.
It would. So just to do a quick sanity check of where things stand at present for unchecked chests in the overworld, we have the two chests in the bottom of the grave, and we have not seen what is in the inn at Rimmildar. So that means it's a 3 in 10 chance Erdrick's sword is on the overworld, and 7 out of 10 chance that it is in Sharlock Castle.
That means we can play the greatest game show ever to be played for Dragon Warrior Randomizer, the 25,000 gold piece pyramid.
I think at some point that's going to have to increase as the knockout stage goes up. We really need to get those things taken care of and get more money out there. But in the meantime, Lorgon picking up the harp and the Stones of Sunlight.
Yeah, we could talk to our runners, and maybe by the final 4 we could make it the $100,000 gold piece pyramid.
In case you missed that, Star Wyverns don't just have hurt more, they also have heal more. Red in Hawksnest. That is going to be a bit of an ask for Tyerenex. Tyerenex is going to have to depend on, honestly, a couple crits given the copper sword and the strength as is. Tries for the YOLO hurt more, does not work.
Yeah, Red Dragon has a 15 out of 16 resist to hurt more. It's the same as the Dragon Lord. And however, Lorgon gets level 10, gets 4 more power, 6 more agility, 13 more hit points, 3 more magic points. No spell, but not really needed. And as you see on Lorgon's stats, the HP is green, and what that means is that you can go. You have enough to take out the Dragon Lord, conceivably, with that amount of HP. Just all the other stats have to come in.
So yeah, what we're looking for is them to start blinking orange or green here, as stated by sigmafan. The more green you have, the more likely the Dragon Lord will be taken down, but you can definitely get by with lower stats. It just depends on the RNG and the combination of what you have.
Also the combination of what you run into, because Lorgon runs into a red dragon on the floor where another chest is, so he will have to try to get away from this red dragon, but the red dragon just wants to play more and more and more, and just zapping away all of Lorgon's health. This will be burning his last heal more, and we'll have 2 more attempts, maybe 3 to run away from it, and does get away.
Meanwhile, Tyerenex into Garenham for the disappointing news on that end, and we have Erdrick's sword on the side path in the grave. Big get here for Lorgon. That's a boost of, I think, 30 attack power.
88 HP, that makes it feasible to do stuff. And honestly, he doesn't need to do much of anything else. He is kind of in go back to the Silver Harp trade, and he knows where that is. It's just a matter of finding Jerk Cave and grinding to where he can defeat the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, Lorgon has not seen Hawksnest yet, but that'll be an easy enough find. And neither player has seen the Rainbow Drop Cave, I don't think. But that'll be an easy enough exploration once the grind is done. I think at this point, normally Lorgon has a get your homework done and then grind, but might be better served by a grind if they can find a good spot to grind up. Have we seen the enemy in the Swamp Cave?
No, we have not. So if it's an Axe Knight or even an Armor Knight, I would take that hand over fist any day over a Red Dragon, especially with the stats we have.
Up 2 and G, lamenting the not diving to the bottom to see if the Death Necklace was there. I mean, you're that far in, you might want to, but it's only a 1 in 9 chance at this point that was the Death Necklace. But It was only a 3 and 10 that Erdrick's sword was on the overworld, and that paid off.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that he only had 6 magic points left, couldn't really heal. I don't think he had herbs in stock, so might as well give up the ghost and heal.
Not gonna disagree with that entirely. But so Tyerenex closing in on level 10, while Lorgon, I think, is just trying to find Hawksnest at this point, or the Rainbow Drop Cave, or both, honestly. It's good to know where everything is. Unfortunately, Lorgon's heading into the big, long swamp of nothing.
Well, I know what Tyerenex is doing. Tyerenex is going back in here, and there are 2 chests that he's also looking for the sword. So he will find the sword in that first part.
If Tyerenex can get there. As we recall, there is a red dragon on that floor waiting to chompy on Tyerenex.
That is right. And by the way, I'm going to let everybody know, give these races a follow. Follow Lorgon and follow Tyerenex. Great runners that would love to have your support when they stream other things as well and when they're not running these tournaments. And while you're at it, why not give Ali Gabrap a follow, who is our wonderful tracker. We have a CD Improv, who is a great restreamer. And not only that, give brisulph a follow. brisulph, you're working on a wonderful, trying to get sub 40 in Smash TV for the Super Nintendo. And give me a follow just because.
Let's not worry about Smash TV. Right now, Lorgon's trying to smash a metal slime using that baby breath. Unfortunately, the metally gets away. Lorgon continue to explore. And there's the red dragon that was mentioned earlier, now trying to take down Tyerenex. This is the true guardian of Erdrick's sword. So Tyerenex has 3 Healmores left, 2 now. Is going to have to try to get away here. Only going to get 1 run and then have to heal again.
Yeah, that's kind of the downfall. We'll have 1 more Healmore after this. Still doesn't get away. So he'll have to heal more and have 2 more shots at it.
This is rough here. Tyerenex doesn't know it, but this run right here, that was huge. That was huge. Tyerenex didn't know it, but that is something where this race really hinged. But will another red show up to finish the job off here? My goodness. Look at all the bridges here on Lorgon's side, in behind Sharlock.
Yep, also found Rimuldar, but there's no need to go into Rimuldar now. Has all the items, so it's just a matter of finding the jerk. Well,
the Death Necklace is still in the wind, and it's not a hard check. Probably would be worth checking.
Tyerenex gets to level 10. So it's a matter of, will Tyerenex get to the sword? Yes. Tyerenex does get to the sword.
I was getting a little worried there, Tyerenex, with the overwalk. Doing that most of the time, the game goes, oh, you don't want that item, I'm going to kill you now.
So now the question becomes, will Tyerenex go to... Yeah, Tyerenex is going to get that last chest and hope for the Death Necklace.
I mean, you've invested that much on the dive, you may as well keep going, as Lorgon is going to find Hawksness here momentarily. When Erdrick's sword in hand, compared to when Tyerenex went there with the copper sword, this should be a fight that can be won. 4 Healmores, probably, well, hard to say. The defense still isn't super overpowering. This red could be an issue still.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that this will be the only time that he will fight this red dragon. Meanwhile, Tyerenex runs into a wyvern, be able to take it out easily with 1 shot.
Gold in the basement.
We had, well, 712 gold in the basement. That's not too bad. And now
So with-
Tyerenex decides to grind and die.
Indeed, the gold grind is the right time to have some fun here as we see the red dragon attempting to hold on here. I think it's going to be close, but I think Lorgon's going to get it here.
Might cost all the heal mores, but yeah. We'll have to burn his last one, but should be able to take out the red dragon, and there it is. Takes out the red dragon, gets level 11, and we'll get the wonderful Erdrick's armor, which is fabulous piece. 2 power, no agility, 4 hit points, 7 magic points, and gets a spell. It's either Radiant or Return, which at this point... Oh, it's both! Gets both. But Erdrick's armor is amazing, right, brisulph?
Oh, absolutely. The Armor of Invincibility has a lot of wonderful features. You've got 28 Absorb for starters. That's pretty good.
Oh, especially you got some fantastic buffs to it. Like, you know those pesky hurts and hurt mores? They get cut in half.
And what about Fire Breath? Tell me it also does stuff to Fire Breath attacks.
Oh, you bet it does. Cuts it by a third. So, you know that pesky 20 for baby breath that it does? It only do about 12. And not only that, DL2 breath maxes out at 48, so that's good news there. So now Lorgon has the armor and is now looking to re-find the Silver Heart Cave trade-in.
But clearly that's not all the things this armor can do. Doesn't it stop spells, like Stop Spell?
Oh, absolutely it does. It stops spells. It'll stop spell from happening. Sleep will still be a problem, but, you know, it doesn't do everything. We're not promising that it does everything. And it's all yours for the low price of 3 easy payments of $19.99. brisulph, how do they order?
Well, all you gotta do is kill a red dragon inside of a destroyed town behind an old shop and dig it up from underneath the corpse of that red dragon. But more importantly, it does even more. It gives you passive healing. With every single step you take, you regain a hit point. It also protects you from damaging tiles on the ground. It does so many great things. You want to get this in your life today.
Absolutely. And if you want to get this wonderful piece of armor also from killing that red dragon, all you gotta do is just download Dragon Warrior Randomizer. And to do that, to download Dragon Warrior Randomizer, there is a link that is in the chat right now, or soon to be in the chat right now, with the wonderful randomizer done by McGrew. And while you're donning that armor, why don't you come and join our wonderful Dragon Warrior Discord? We have races every day, and not only that, meet a bunch of wonderful people who love Dragon Warrior Randomizer and Dragon Warrior in general just as much as you do. Not only that, races are also available for Dragon Warrior Randomizers for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th NES games. All this for the low price of absolutely free. Although, you do have to pay for your internet connection. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is now heading on over to get his armor. Why don't you get your armor today?
I was waiting for you to run out of breath there, but you just kept going. Lorgon got level 12. There was 13 strength, some hit points, a little bit of magic points, but, you know, there's some concerning stats in this build right now. Those magic points are low. The strength is still fairly low. There's going to be some grinding in the future here. Lorgon is closing in on that harp trade-in, by the way.
And it's all just a matter of finding Jerk Cave, and it's either going to be southeast of Hawk's Nest, or it's going to be right in the area where Lorgon is.
So Tyerenex used Stop Spell on the Star Wyvern here, going for the kill. That then still had to use a heal more anyway, so down to 3 heal mores to take on this red dragon. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
No, because it took Lorgon 4 or 5.
Gonna have to depend on a crit, I think, at this point. And fighting, or no, trying to run this time. And Star Wyvern lets it go now, but in tight here right now.
And while Tyerenex is going to fight the red dragon, Lorgon does get a Staff of Rain. Now it's just a matter of him finding the Jerk and grinding.
right now we know one of the two spike tile spots, of course, is this red dragon in Hawksnest, but closer to the throne room is in the swamp cave, and we have yet to see that monster. So presumably it's going to be an easier grind than what we're seeing, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, as it's looking at right now against this red dragon, it is not looking good. Only swinging for 11 or 15 is a couple of levels behind.
I don't know about that heal more, but 40 hit points, I think you have to swing there and just try to get an extra attack. But we'll have to wait and see here. Now gets it on the last swing, presumably. Big get, level 11, and Erdrick's armor belong to Tyerenex. We have a heck of a race brewing here.
Yep, it gets the rest of his spells. Now the matter is, do you go south and try to find Jerk Cave and know that piece? Because we know Tyerenex is still trying to find, the Jerk Cave and Silver Harp Cave.
Yeah, the Staff of Rain is definitely something that is weighing on Tyerenex's mind. Not seeing either Trade Cave yet at this point, at the 53-minute mark, is a little concerning. It appears if Tyerenex finds the Rainbow Drop Cave on this side, we'll find them in the wrong order, meaning that Tyerenex will have to keep searching. So Lorgon can press the advantage here, knowing more than his opponent.
Absolutely, and Lorgon finds this nice little swamp path, but unfortunately finds nothing to go along with it.
Yeah, Lorgon is with a big crit there on a wizard, but Lorgon is definitely a get the homework done and then grind type of player. So I'm not surprised by this search to find the Rainbow Drop right now.
Me either, as Lorgon goes further south, and there it is.
So presumably Lorgon is going to head right back to the castle, head inside, and check what is inside that swamp cave for a grind. Tyerenex is now in the southeast reaches of the map and has yet to see it. Unfortunately, I think is searching the wrong continent.
Yep, searching the wrong continent and running out of options. Looks like gonna probably just grind and until he dies. Because there's nothing there. Except for Hexus, it was a big empty. So Lorgon is buying all the supplies that he needs, and will probably, I think you're right, we'll go back into Swamp Cave, see what's in that spike spot, hopefully see something more palatable than a red dragon. If it is another red dragon, then we might be seeing a... What do you do? Do you do the red dragon grind, or do you beeline it for Sherlock?
We haven't seen a lot of very strong overworld enemies to mess with. They have been around. The problem with the Sherlock grind is the encounter rate on those tiles is only, I think, 1 in 16. Even if the spike spot is generally unpalatable, either of them as a grind spot, you're better to just hold your nose and deal with a suboptimal monster, just because you'll get more encounters and gain experience a little quicker. Lorgon has been checking this desert, so there must be something in here that's worthwhile to grind on.
These green dragons are good.
They are good, and the desert encounter is a little. It's like one of the highest encounter tiles in the game, or is one of the highest tiles, I should say, along with foothills, and your walking speed isn't diminished, so it's the best overworld option. But Lorgon. Repel wore off. It is now getting Goldman, so probably needs to get that Repel back on sooner than later.
And he will do that once he defeats this green dragon. And a couple more green dragons will get him to level 14, give him to level 13. This Star Wyvern will help out as well.
Star Wyverns, as we know, can punch pretty hard with that Hurt More, and they have Heal More. So hitting first and then a Hurt More just to guarantee the kill from Lorgon. One more 100 experience point monster here will get level 13. Some important stats to keep in mind. The strength is still pretty low right now, and the hit points are still riding pretty high. That death necklace that's still out in the wind could matter down the line. 20 more hit points, the death necklace is safely in play. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But, there could be a massive strength gain here at any moment, sigmafan.
Right, could be here at level 13. How about 15 power, 11 agility, 1 hit point, 8 magic points? That should help out the cause.
Absolutely. Going to be hoping to see there's some of the strength, but would need another gainer like that to really feel good about things.
Yeah, it needs another 12 to make it feasible. Or even fighting the death necklace makes it doable. But the HP's gotta be up by about 20 more points. So I think Lorgon is doing the right thing. We'll be going to the swamp cave and seeing what's in that spike spot.
Meanwhile,
Tyerenex
Tyerenex
does
getting
find
the Staff of Rain, so that's good. Finding that one first before the rainbow drop is important.
And as we know, the Jerk Cave is more southwest of the wonderfulness that is that cave.
We have a metal slime here in the swamp cave. Lorgon has hit it once so far. Will Lorgon pick up the 255? There's another hit. And it's breathing fire. It's hanging around. The medley goes down, sigmafan.
It's a wonderful sight to see a metal slime go down in a blaze of glory. And now what will happen is Lorgon is going to check out this spike spot. Not before he runs into another metal slime, which, even though you can hit it more accurately right now, still a little suspect. But if it's just going to fire off stop spells and breath, that's fine. Or it can run away. And the spike spot is a blue dragon. Yeah.
Indeed, it is a blue dragon. So we'll have to wait and see. Take him down. Much easier than that red dragon, though. So it is the grind spot to use. Apologies here, my feed seems to have temporarily hit an issue, so one moment.
Lorgon is doing the right thing by grinding on those blue dragons.
Which may be him not having any issues, but Twitch is twitching pretty hard right now as Lorgon continues to grind, closing in on level 14, while Tyerenex, who just got level 12, is, I think, getting close to the area with the Rainbow Drop Cave, but not there yet. So Lorgon definitely in control right now with the experience point lead, having the rainbow drop in hand. But as we all know, Sherlock can be a great equalizer when you are making your dive for the win.
Absolutely.
So after this blue dragon, Lorgon will be looking at one more blue dragon to get level 14.
Yeah, because it's, 5625 to get to level 14.
Correct, and this blue dragon, thankfully, much nicer than the red dragon grind. That is for sure. Tyerenex goes down, not having found the cave, and Armor Knight, the deputy as it were, puts the arrest in, and here comes Lorgon with level 14.
Yep. How about 9 more power, 3 more agility, 7 more hit points, 7 more magic points?
It's getting close. Those lack of magic points are concerning, and the strength is still a little low.
Lorgon believes so too. He will grind to 15, which I think just a couple more attack power, like 3 more attack power, maybe 5 more magic points.
The big concern here for a dive and grind, as mentioned in the chat, is just the lack of magic points going into Sharlock. You'll only have 9 heal mores. I mean, you could always exit partway through. There is a town nearby to refill at if you get gain. But I like this play by Lorgon. Just start grinding now, pushing the envelope here and dying. So might just be leaving and going. Maybe just trying to get a lucky one, extend the resources. We'll have to see what Lorgon does now on the resource.
Right, and the Blue Dragon is the best grind because you're at Tantegel, and yeah, Lorgon is going to continue his grind.
Not too surprising, as Up2NG said, Lorgon tends to be a little conservative. Doesn't necessarily like to be too aggressive with the moves, but it's why Lorgon plays well, consistent. Always finishes well in any race that.
That Lorgon is also a great commentator. You should hear him commentate some races. A lot of knowledge to impart to anybody. Can teach anybody how to play Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Meanwhile, Tyerenex does find Jerk Cave, and he will get his Rainbow Drop. Lorgon will continue to feast on these blue dragons and build that 2,400 point experience lead.
I just have to say, for the record, I don't think the guy is really a jerk. He's just very much an A-type personality. He expects success. He expects people to show up ready to do their job. And if they're not ready, he's going to let you know about it.
Will you be serious, brisulph? He's a complete jerk.
Maybe that's why I like him so much. The grind continues here for Lorgon, looking to get to 7,500 experience points to get to the... That would be, I believe, 9 blue dragons, while Tyerenex is now heading into Swamp Cave, no doubt to check as well what's going out.
Yep, and I think once Tyerenex sees the blue dragon, this will be his grind spot as well. Meanwhile, Lorgon is about 187 or so more blue dragons away from getting 50.
That was funny the way you said that. You made it sound like it was 187 blue dragons away.
That's only for chaos, brisulph.
You ain't wrong.
By the way, Winter League might be coming back, and we know last year there was talk of doing random seeds every week, so that should be fun.
Well, the Winter League last year, there was a lot of different flag sets. It was quite different from the summer tournament, which generally just uses standard flags, so with a little variation, of course, from some of our players. But in the future, for now, we are just waiting anxiously to see if Lorgon's going to get the level that is required at this level 15. Closing in here, getting very close with each blue dragon. Closer and closer.
After this blue dragon that Lorgon destroys, he will need 5 more. And if the way these blue dragons, he might have to take a death for grinding again.
Yeah, Lorgon will just be 3 blue dragons now until level 15. They're going down pretty quickly, 3 or 4 turns generally with the attack power this high. And it could even be a 2-turn battle if the attacks are high enough and the blue dragon low.
Exactly, and Tyerenex gets like he gets level 13. That's going to help out his cause. Meanwhile, Lorgon at 72-80 blue dragons for him until he gets level 15. Now 2 more blue dragons. Can you feel the excitement?
Absolutely, and actually, Lorgon now just needs to kill this blue dragon to level 15. Let's see what happens here for the level. We're looking for some strength and some magic at this point. Those are the two most important stats for Lorgon.
And here it is. Here we go.
14 power. Oh boy. But no magic, I think? That's unfortunate.
Might be unfortunate, but I'd say 141. I go.
Well, you're at an average of 15 on the attacks, which means you will need somewhere in the range of 10 to 11 if you're trying to here. The rolls are a little bad, or the Dragon Lord rolls high, could maybe fail. And we have no idea what Sherlock is waiting with the enemies. The overworld's been pretty kind to our runners. Do you think Sherlock is loaded down with, well, speaking of red dragons and the like?
I think it's possible. I mean, it usually is. But you know what? I wouldn't worry about that too badly with 124 hit points. You can easily get doubles, especially defense being at 87. Physical, if the Dragon Lord does more physical attacks, you're easily to get some doubles.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. That power gain really... Ooh.
If he could do moves like that, he will be good to go. Every number except for MP. But
could conceivably be on the block, has the being on the
might help out necessary.
As Twitch is out here again, Lorgon going to fill up at Rimmeldar. I wonder if we're going to check the inn for the Death Necklace, just as a maybe for fun thing.
Yeah, Lorgon will find out it's just a torch, so Death Necklace isn't Sherlock.
Tyerenex into Hawksnest to fight Reds, an interesting choice. I believe Tyerenex did check and fought Blues, so kind of an interesting grind decision here.
I'm not a fan of it because those red dragons, not only do they have higher HP, they have higher defense. They're going to hit harder. Blue dragons, they might only give you 180 experience points. I prefer it a lot more than having to burn a lot more heal mores against red dragons.
It's also for walk, you don't have to spend a key every time. No, it's definitely the better grind is the Swamp Cave. But this is the choice that Tyerenex has made, so we'll have to wait and see how it works out here. Already being behind in this race at the moment, gonna need some help from Sherlock to really have a chance to make it down. And yeah, 16 is not necessary, as pointed out in chat, but Lorgon could potentially grind it on the way down, picking off monsters here and there.
Yeah, he will be defense breaking some wizards. I think some werewolves. Maybe decide to take out a couple of golems. Who knows?
Golems are a little dicey just because they hit so hard if that fairy flute doesn't keep them asleep. This Axe Knight could be killed in 2 turns with the sword, so definitely a better target. And at this point, Lorgon is a little under 900 experience points away from the next level, so probably it can pick it up on the way, and there is a spike tile monster to fight that you're forced to kill. And I think he's just decided to cut the Reds up, Sigma?
Not that bad of a play. You have good defense, and with how high you're hurting them, I don't think it's that bad of a play. And what could happen is, if he gets to 9750, gets level 16, gets a lot more MP, can easily cast outside, go to Rimmeldar, fill up, and then do his big dive.
Well, at this point, Lorgon has already used a heal more, so looking not too great here on the magic points. Might just be hoping for a massive hit point or strength gain, or might just be exiting to refill at some point. We're using hurt mores now. Just grinding now. Using this as an information dive and getting the experience needed for the level. So I see the plan in action here. Don't know if I agree personally, but it's working very nicely for Lorgon thus far. Getting experience fairly quickly.
Yeah, getting it very quickly. Also, just running into enemies he knows he can take out. And it's just that conservative play by Lorgon, especially with that first dive. He's probably sensing he's got a good lead, can extend it a little bit, get to that level 16, and it's probably proven right as Tyerenex goes down to that red dragon. Will he go back and grind on those blue dragons? Time will...
Well, this red dragon for Lorgon will get level 16. We'll see if this play is going to pay off for Lorgon. As said, really, 15 would have been enough if you could make it down to the basement with all of your heal mores intact. But a little extra security here for Lorgon, potentially, as we get level 16. No strength, 5 agility, 1 hit point, 18 magic points. 16 is super go mode now.
Yep, so go mode, he's going to cast outside and fill up at Rimmeldar.
Actually going to head over to Motel 6, I guess. Save a little bit of money. So 90 defense power now. Everything's looking real good for Lorgon. Should be pretty easy of a dive. 80 agility. You know, really giving that defense in good shape. And MTI shows up for the 0 power. Loving. That's good. I was worried we weren't going to have an MTI sighting.
We did have a couple of levels that had zeros, but you know what? MTI wasn't in chat, so But you know what? Lorgon is now going to do his dive. And it looks like Lorgon might take this home.
Unfortunately, Tyerenex is back into Hawksness. As discussed, really not a great grind. Unless you're going to crit every red dragon, then it's perfect. A good point in chat, that extra grind to 16 for Lorgon left the door open a little bit here, but getting it quick enough has allowed Lorgon to dive for real first in Sharlock here, as Tyerenex is just 1 red dragon away from 15, which is a winnable level.
And then it would just all determine on the Sharluck that you have in Sharlock. And hopefully you won't Sharlack in turns against the Dragon Lord.
So 15 coming for Tyerenex here as Lorgon puts the golem to sleep and runs away. Making pretty quick progress here through B1. And then, as I say this, another golem shows up.
It's not that much of a problem. You're able to run from these golems pretty easily, even with or without the... Well, as soon as I say that, he gets blocked twice. The oldie commentator curse. And it looks like Tyerenex will go at 15, gonna heal up, and then make his dive.
The floors are alive here, and they're all made of golems, apparently, on this floor.
Pretty much, and Lorgon is eating that herb like I eat my words a couple of moments ago.
On to the diamond floor now, basement 2. A bit annoying to maneuver through, but Lorgon making rapid progress here, about halfway through. And he now gets run blocked by a blue dragon. Agility is just a suggestion. That is what everyone should have learned by now in this game. Helps your defense, allegedly helps you run, but not really.
Yeah, but then again, we have seen racers throughout this tournament have not that great agility and still breeze through Sharlock. So it's luck, mainly.
That's what I'm saying. Agility is just a suggestion. And Lorgon is deciding to just use the extra strength here and just cut these armored knights up rather than risk running away. Not the worst play with the higher hit points. Can heal walk and use an herb here and there to just get away and in the end save yourself some pain, probably.
Absolutely. I mean, you got... It's only, what, a 2-turn fight, maybe a 3-turn fight at most. At max, they're going to swing for maybe 30 total damage to you, combined.
I was going to say
30 to 40.
The big issue with them is that they have a slightly elevated dodge, but it's not that noticeable.
No, we're not talking like the dangerous demon knights who have a really high dodge. And now Lorgon going to the U floor, then we'll go to the barracks and head to the bottom floor.
Tyerenex on to basement 1 now, in chase position at present, but we'll have to wait and see if Lorgon gets an unfortunate set of luck, but with this level 16, should be very primed to win this race.
But gets run blocked by this armor knight, but is able to get away the second time around, gonna burn his last herb, but runs into another armor knight 1 step ahead. Now he doesn't have a choice, he has to chop up these armored knights.
And Lorgon just needs to remember that a heal more burn's not the end of the world here. Can definitely afford 1 or maybe 2 getting burned on this dive.
It just all depends what's in that spike spot. The one thing that he probably doesn't want to see is a red dragon. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is on the diamond floor. He is catching up, but runs into an armor knight of his own who back attacks him and not able to run away. Lorgon, now on the bottom floor, runs into a wizard that is easily able to be running away from him. But more armor knight problems for Tyerenex, is able to get away. Navigating this diamond floor, gets to that 3rd floor, but Lorgon is now heading towards the spike spot. Place your bets. What do you think that spike spot is?
It's a stone man.
I don't think we've seen a stone man yet.
Well, it did have the ability to use a sleep, puts it to sleep, and then drops the boom with a crit.
That'll do, and he's heading to the Dragon Lord. He's got 125 health, that 90 defense, that is primed for doublage. And and the fight is on with Lorgon.
And a stop spell to open from the Dragon Lord. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, but Lorgon's rolling low. Dragon Lord hitting for 551. That's the swing that you need. So going with 120 HP, Dragon Lord, but back attacks with fire will not get a double for this first go and hits for 14.
Still in fine shape here. There's no problems. Provided there's no miss menu, Lorgon will be taking home the W.
Well, that double will help. Some pretty good average rolls there.
And yeah, indeed, that not for that hero walk, we might have been seeing simultaneous Dragon Lord fights here. Lorgon, that big walk in the basement, made up for a lot of that fighting on the way down.
Absolutely. And depending on... That's a double right there. Swing at 49. That is safe as houses right now.
And with these big rolls, Lorgon is definitely going to have a lot of magic left in the tank. I've seen 2 or 3 19s already.
Stoneman has healed. Tyerenex with an excellent move on his own takes it out. And it is a few more swings away from punching his ticket into the quarterfinals. That swing of 20, that's the max.
So for Lorgon, going to 16 was a little conservative. Like GG as the Dragon Lord goes. Honestly, on the dive, doing all that feature really allowed Tyerenex to make up a lot of ground at the end. It really aggressive plays in Charlotte often the best way. Wins. Lorgon date with.
He will go on against High Spirits. High Spirits punched his ticket in last night, and now Lorgon gets serenaded by the king. He moves on to the quarterfinals. And with the GGs flowing in for Lorgon, I am pretty sure that GGs in a couple of minutes will be flowing in for Tyerenex as he finishes up his Dragon Lord fight. It was a really solid race all throughout. I don't know what to say except both these guys, great runners. They earned their way into this round of 16. And like I said, I can't wait to hear from Lorgon about this race. Say. Do really well.
He exploration found some.
Yeah, although I can kind of understand where Tyerenex, his thought process while going against those red dragons, that's the max, and they aren't that jerky. They don't have heal more, so I can understand that there. And hopefully, we'll see another great match as good as this one when High Spirits takes on Lorgon in the next round.
And speaking of future matchups, I believe tomorrow is the end of the round of 16. I think all the matches will be wrapped up by the end of tomorrow, meaning the quarterfinals could even start this weekend.
Meanwhile, GGs are flowing for Tyerenex. He does defeat the Dragon Lord, and within 2 minutes of each other, they complete this seed. Lorgon finishes with 1 hour, 22 minutes, 19 seconds, which is the official SRL time. Tyerenex will finish in 1 hour, 24 minutes, and it looks like to be 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Lorgon joins us here on chat. Lorgon, congratulations, good sir. Very well thought out race. Very well done. How does it feel to be in the quarterfinals?
It feels good, and I just tuned into the channel, and it looks like you guys got a good one to watch, which I'm really happy about.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great race, close the whole way. You found things in a different order, and you managed to build up a big experience point lead. And yeah, it was a really close race. Your choice of the Blue Dragons probably is what won you the race. Tyerenex kept going back to Hawksness for the Reds.
Oh yeah, the Reds, like when we got that big attack boost, so right before I switched to the Blue Dragons, we didn't have a whole lot of attack power, and I had seen that desert just outside stat 3 hurt morable Charlock tier enemies. And so I decided that was going to be the best place to grind. I'd never checked Swamp yet. And so unless there was an Axe Knight in Swamp, that was the only place that would be a better place to grind. And so I was like, I know these things are here. It's like a 5 out of 6 chance this is the best grind. So I started hurt mooring those guys. And then we got a level that had 15 attack power. And I was like, the red dragon might come into play, and I should really check what's inside the swamp. And so I went and saw the swamp, and the blue dragon just ended up being the perfect enemy at that moment.
By the way, to say Tyerenex has no mic, but says GG, close one. So just so everyone knows, to give your GGs right to Tyerenex there in chat.
And it was really close. 2 minutes separated you guys, and he went a level lower. He went at 15. You went at 16.
Right, 15. It was like 15 was definitely stats to beat the Dragon Lord, but I mean, I walked 2 steps into Charlock and immediately got Red Dragoned, and then I saw Armored Knights on that floor as well, and I was already like halfway up to the next level, and we had lowish agility. I think it was still in the 70s. I don't remember. and we had super high attack power. So I was like, I want to fight the red dragons and armored knights rather than run anyway to have the best chance to get to the dragon lord. So why don't I just go ahead and grind this extra level and hope it's going to help me. But it could have gone either way. With a little bit better luck, or maybe if you just do some more running gambles, you get down there easily on 15. Who knows?
I do have to say, it was interesting to see the cut up as you go on certain enemies and versus just trying to run. And you were also using the fairy flute. Your lead going into Sherlock was very sizable. And if not for that hero walk in the basement, the both of you would have been fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time. That big hero walk in the basement really opened up the lead for you. That was shrinking all the way through Sherlock.
And I was down, I think, to 57 hit points, and I decided I'm not going to spend a heal more yet because I might see golems who I can just flute and get away, or I might get a good long walk and be able to walk up the hit points. I could afford to burn a heal more. I didn't even notice in my Dragon Lord fight. I think I had like 2 heal mores left at the end. 3, I'm not sure. But I was like, let me just walk it off. If I encounter a bad enemy, I'll just heal more on the first turn and I'll still be fine. But then I got that hero walk, which was amazing.
Indeed. I mean, with the attack power you had, was kind of surprised you didn't heal, but it worked out. That heal walk was a beautiful thing, as you did, 60% of the floor without an enemy encounter.
Yeah, and like I said, even if I'd gotten an encounter, I was just going to heal on the very first move, and nothing had sleep, and so there was nothing that was going to be able to put me out of commission. I want to talk about the other critical moment in that one. I got to the grave, and I decided to drive the grave because we found the harp and the stones in the top, and I was like, the only things I'm missing are the sword and the death necklace, and if at least one of them is down here, I want to go down. I do like to gamble in general of skipping the grave, but since I was missing those 2 items, and potentially this was a good time for me to just kind of dive and grind. It turned out there were really good enemies down there as well. There were some good hurt moreable enemies until I ran into the red dragon right before I got chest number 4. And I think I had to heal more like 4 or 5 times against that red dragon to keep running, and just barely got away and then got the sword. If that had gone slightly differently, it completely changes the race.
Well, here's the thing about that, because that's exactly what happened to Tyerenex. Because he got near it, ran into his red dragon. I think he ran into 2 of them and had to just burn heal mores left and right in order to get to the sword.
Actually, they both had the same experience, but Tyerenex went even lower. Tyerenex had no magic and 21 hit points left after the red dragon encounter on that branch going towards the sword. At least Lorgon had about, I think, 60 some and maybe a regular heal still left.
Yeah, I think I still had 14 magic coming out of that one. But then basically I saw the sword and I was like, is it worth continuing diving for the deck necklace? I was like, I'm going to run into another red dragon in all probability. The likelihood of me making it down there is not that good. And it doesn't look right now. At that moment in time, it didn't look like it was going to be a death necklace seed. Near the very end, you notice before I went into Sherlock, I finally opened the Rimu chest. I hadn't opened it before because I was like, the only thing it could be is the death necklace, and it doesn't look like it's a death necklace seed. And then after I grinded and got to the end, we were in the 120s, and I was like, I might be diving and grinding, and we might get hit points on a level, so I better pick up that Rimu chest before I go into Sherlock just in case. So yeah, I don't know. Was the death necklace anywhere?
Sherlock.
It would be somewhere in Sherlock. We never saw any of the chests there, so we don't know which one it was. Can't even play $25,000 pyramid with you.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I was doing well, I guess, ahead in terms of experience at the beginning. Like, I don't know, it felt like there were good encounters just like in the overworld. Like, first, it took a little while to get the slimes to get the first level. I got to Cantlin immediately and got the copper sword. Did Tyerenex? I didn't think about that.
Actually, Tyerenex, due to the starting gold chest, was able to get a small shield, chainmail, and the copper sword on the first trip.
Okay, so he got the small shield too.
And the scale as well.
Okay.
Along with some herbs, but didn't really use the herbs against some of the monsters early. It was maybe just
the copper sword and the chainmail were enough that like I would have liked to have had the small shield, and I did go back for it a little bit later. But yeah, I saw that 561 and I was like, this is hand axe money. And then I walked into Cantlin and I was like, oh, score. And then it was like, copper sword and chainmail. Not quite as good, but still good. Yeah, but there were so many wolves like everywhere. I don't know if I was just getting lucky getting them, but it was a great enemy. It was also, we saw like 2 enemies with spells like the entire game. Like these were all just fight enemies, it felt like.
There wasn't a whole lot of spells, and I don't know if we ever saw Dragon Lord 2 Breath outside of the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, so crazy good seed for just like nice enemies that made it a straightforward seed to go through for the most part.
And you can't argue with that when you're the one playing it, that's for sure.
I kind of screwed up drawing my map. I don't know if you guys noticed when I was going back to the Staff of Rain cave, like I took a few wrong turns, like trying to get back there. That's the only part of the map that I screwed up. I had seen when I reached Staff of Rain cave, the cave on the other side, and I was like, that's probably Swamp North. And so it gave me a sense of it's probably a small continent over there, which is one of the reasons that I waited until late in the seed to bother going through the Swamp Cave, which ended up paying off because that was the moment where I was ready to fight the red dragon. I didn't even think I was going to kill that red dragon the first time. I guess that's another piece of good luck. Basically, I had two good red dragon lucks. I managed to run from the one before I got Urdic's sword, and I managed to kill the red dragon in Hawk's Nest the first time to get the armor. So both of those were critical pivots.
What's really funny about that is that it was the same thing for Tyerenex. The no more heal mores and managed to get the red dragon on the last swing in Hawk's Nest. So the both of you
Wow.
had to
I can't wait to watch this back.
Oh yeah, it was interesting. It was a real mirrored back and forth race at points. It really came down to ultimately grind choice that made the big difference. But there was little bits here and there that kept swinging it back and forth. It was a fun race.
So did Tyerenex see that there was the blue dragon in Swamp Cave and made the choice to do the red, or had he just never checked?
I believe, sigmafan, you can back me up in this, but I believe that the check was made. But Tyerenex decided with the extra strength, I guess, that the reds were the better play.
Tyerenex grinded on blue dragons, but then later on decided to go to the reds.
I see. It was a farther walk is one of the main things. Like with red dragons, you're going to take more damage and have to take ins more often. And so it would have been close, like if they were both equal distance from the inn, I feel like. I'm not entirely sure.
Unfortunately, there was no towns on that side of the swamp cave other than Hawk's Nest, so there was no refill nearby.
Right. And you'd also occasionally have to buy keys just to like get back through there if you did a number of circuits. So yeah, that was kind of the trade-offs that I saw.
And that is exactly true. And do you have any more final words on this seed? And any thoughts on your upcoming match with High Spirit?
My only other thought on this seed is that by the time I was doing my second dive of Sharlock after I got level 16 and I hadn't seen a dot done on the other side, I was thinking to myself, it's probably going to be a good race, like win or lose. We're probably making something exciting for the people to watch, and so I hope the people enjoyed it. And as usual, yeah, big shout outs to you two, Brian, Sigma, as well as I think Ali was our tracker and CD for restreaming. Always appreciated, and I look forward to going back and watching the VOD. I didn't realize I'd forgotten to look ahead that High Spirits is going to be my next opponent. I have lots of experience racing him. I have beat him a couple times in the past, but he's probably beat me, I don't know, 3 out of 4 times. And so that's going to be a super big challenge. That's going to be definitely my biggest challenge so far in the tournament, but hopefully I'll be able to put on a good show.
Well, we look forward to seeing that. Once again, thank you, Lorgon, for all of your kind words. And we are going to be heading to Games Done Quick. They're doing a Zelda trilogy randomizer. That's Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Link to the Past. Have you played any of those randomizers, brisulph?
I've not played any of those randomizers, no. And just for the record, it's Legend of Zelda, not Zelda 1.
Well, I kind of like to shorten things up because we're doing Zelda 1, because the randomizer is called Zelda 1 Randomizer. Anyway, squabbles for later. Anyway, we'd like to thank everybody for watching. Couldn't do this without you. We'd like to thank CD Improv for restreaming, Ali Grabrap for tracking, brisulph, thank you once again for being the co-commentator.
Thank you, Sigma.
Thank you, Lorgon and Tyerenex, for putting on a great race. We're heading over to Games Done Quick, and until next time, this is sigmafan saying goodnight. Good night.
And we're done.